What's up guys, it's Will here back again, and today I'm here to excitedly review the Gametoys 1/6 scale Cloud Strife figure from Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. I picked up mine from 1/6 Kit. You can use my code WillFox for $10 off your order on anything on the site. Guys, I have been insanely hyped for this figure. This has been one of my most anticipated. It has been delayed for quite a while now. That said, let's waste no more time. Let's go. All right, guys, let's get into the unbox and chill segment where we will, in fact, unbox and chill this Gametoys Cloud Strife. You can see here the Fenrir logo with a gold emblem there, as you see on Cloud's shoulder armor as well, though it's silver on his shoulder armor. That said, Gametoys 006C. You can see the Gametoys logo on the back there. I love my Gametoys figures. I have several of them now, and they are all super high quality, and this one, I hope, will be no different. This is the deluxe version with Fenrir, which I will show you guys in a little bit. That said, here's the packaging. I really like it. It's kind of Star Warsy in its vibe, but a little bit more gold. You can see there the inner packaging. You can see the Cloud Strife sort of slip cover, I guess you could say, and it'll go right over the inside of the packaging there. And then once we get to the inner packaging, you can see an instruction sheet that gives you a bunch of detail about how to use the swords, which I will show you in a little bit more detail in a little bit here. And of course, Fenrir, the bike, which I will show you as well, and how that kind of operates and works and all that. It's going to be very exciting, I promise you guys. That said, I'm glad they included instructions. They got Cloud packaged nice and safely. First impressions looking through the packaging here, he looks fantastic. This sculpt looks amazing. This outfit, guys, damn, this is really, really cool. I really love the shoulder pauldron with that silver sort of Fenrir emblem on it. I think it looks great. You have the skirt there that mixes really nicely with the overall tunic and overall outfit. You can see the seamless body looks fantastic. The robe is entirely wired, so you can actually adjust it to your liking depending upon the pose, something more dynamic, maybe something more static. You can do either or, whatever your heart desires, you can work with it. Here's the swappable hands. There's several here, as you can see, and there's actually a couple that come as well with the bike in the packaging for Fenrir, just because you want to be able to put him maybe on the bike pose, holding the handles and grips and stuff like that. Here's a sword. I will show in a little bit more detail. It does come apart. It is all magnetic, so it connects and detaches magnetically, and then you can reattach them and have Cloud holding a giant sword or a bunch of individual ones if you want him to. That said, here's the base. Very simplistic, simple, it works fine. Very consistent with the other Gametoys bases in the line. So I'm assuming they wanted to keep consistency just so when you display your Gametoys figures, they all look uniform in a line. It works great. You got a crotch grabber, works fine. You can see here, here's a part of the sword. It's magnetic. It's a tiny version. That handle flips out. And with these two, you can actually connect them magnetically. They come apart. You can have Cloud hold them individually, or you connect them to the overall larger sword with magnets. Like I mentioned, you can do either option. And here's actually sort of the base sword. This is the one with the handle. The handle grip pops off the back, and then you slide it into Cloud's hand and pop it into his hand. You can see here another sword that connects via the larger overall magnet system, and one that you can also have Cloud holding if you wish. And it's also pretty exciting. So this guy comes strapped, let's say that. He comes with a lot of swords that you can all connect and disconnect, or have them displayed in different ways. You can see the bike inner packaging here. I turned the exposure up just so you could see a little bit. There's the hands that they package actually with the bike. So if you want to put Cloud on the bike holding the handles of the bike of Fenrir, you can do that. I did not, because I'm a little bit concerned about the longevity of the figure, so I'm not going to do that, but go wild. The goggles actually work great. Be careful with them. They could scratch the paint if you're not careful, so you do want to be very cautious with that. You can see Fenrir is massive. I love the gold color scheme with the black. It has that slick sort of stylish, but also really classy look to it. I think this thing is just full of detail. It has incredible details all throughout, and it's kind of consistent with the Hardy Daytona in terms of the overall quality, although this one's a little bit different. So when we're talking about the accessories, you can see here, the swords obviously all come apart, which I will show you, and then the hands, they give you some glue. And of course, Fenrir is really the show stealer here. That's the showstopper. I mean, this bike is absolutely incredible. The gold just absolutely pops. And with the black color scheme, I think this looks super, super good in a display. I think this is going to be one of the best vehicles in your display should you choose to pick this up, because it's just awesome. You get the second head sculpt there, as you can see with Cloud. You can put the goggles on him, as I did there. So you get two head sculpts with this one. There's also the 2 phones. One of them has the image of Sephiroth on it, one has the Fenrir logo, and one flips up and down. So you can see the swords there. Like I said, I will show you a little bit more detail, but you can see Cloud with the goggles on. You can remove the goggles, so you got 2 interchangeable hair pieces, which are great. You just pop them on with magnets and so forth. Here's the sword. Like I said, it all connects with magnets and detaches the same way. So if you pull it apart, just do it gently. You can see it pulls apart, and you can disconnect it to your liking and have Cloud displayed in any way that you would like. But yeah, all the swords disconnect. And the magnets are actually super sturdy and hold great and disconnect easily if you want them to. But if you don't want them to, they'll hold pretty steady. You can see here, you connect that one piece to the right there, and then you slide that in, and then you go ahead and slide in the 2 swords that are connected to each other on top of that to the other side, and they actually peg in some holes. Then you're good there. Then you slide on the little smaller blades on the magnets right there, and you'll see how the magnets align when you go to adjust these, and then boom, there you go. The sword is complete, ready for Cloud to wield, or again, you could pull them apart and have them wielding different ways. So the bike here actually has sword holders in them. You can articulate that and put the swords inside, and you can drop the sword covers to cover the swords, or have it open if you wish. Either one would be a display option. It articulates very nicely. Be careful, the joints maybe a tad loose, but they hold pretty well overall. But over time, I think you'll be fine. Just be careful with it. But the detail on the bike is great. You can articulate it in multiple ways. I think it looks fantastic overall. And this bike just has an insane amount of presence. I'm not a huge vehicle guy, but I am for Cloud's bikes. I think this one is even better than the Hardy Daytona, to be honest, which was already a really good bike. I think that gold just really sets it apart. So for me, guys, I think there's so many good accessories here, particularly the Fenrir bike. I'm gonna give the accessories a 5 out of 5 just because these are so fucking cool. Articulation. So I would just be a little bit concerned about articulation because the seamless body, it feels very substantial in hand. This body feels high quality. It truly does. It's fully seamless all the way, and you can articulate him and do whatever you want. However, I would not do it long term, because if you're gonna leave this guy in a dynamic pose where his elbows are bent or you're doing something crazy, you're gonna rip the shoulders probably, you're gonna rip the joints or the elbows, whatever it may be. So I would be very careful with that. You can see his red armband is actually articulated as well. So if you want to put him in a more dynamic pose, you can do that, and you can move that sort of armband and make it around. You can twist it and stuff and do what you want with it. I will say though, overall, like I said, you can crunch him, you can bend him. He's got a good ab crunch there. A lot of torso movement, a lot of leg movement. But like I said, those seamless joints in the arms, in the shoulders, I would be very cautious with. I would not leave him in anything crazy long term unless you want to risk damaging the suit. And that's something to me that I'm not willing to risk. So maybe you want to snap a couple photos, put him in some cool dynamic poses. But to me, I would not risk it long term. You can move the head around quite a bit. Again, you can swap the hair pieces on and off. There's 2 different ones. Articulation for me is a 4 out of 5. I think that overall articulation is solid. Let's talk about the character of Cloud Strife from Advent Children. So Advent Children is an older film from like 2005. You can see here compared to the original Cloud that Gametoys put out, the Final Fantasy VII Remake version, this one is definitely different. The hair color you can see is slightly more, gold instead. It's like gold or white instead of the actual like more yellow that it has in the original version. I actually think this one is an improvement in pretty much like every way. I think this one is a better paint apps. I think the body is improved. I think that the head sculpt is improved. I think the accessories are even better. So overall, this Advent Children one is even better. But as far as the character, Cloud is always going to be iconic to video game fans. To video game fans, I mean, you got a character here that is one of the most legendary characters in all of gaming. Final Fantasy VII to me is always going to be the grail of the Final Fantasy franchise. So I think you got something pretty exciting. The Advent Children movie was a popular film in 2005. However, it does feel a little bit dated today. However, Cloud is always going to be an iconic character. And you can see the different bikes here. I wanted to compare the Hardy Daytona from the original release, as you can see there on the right. And then you got, of course, the Fenrir bike on the left from the new Advent Children release. But yeah, this Cloud is fantastic. You can take off his sleeve, but overall, the character is a 5 out of 5 for me. He's iconic. He's legendary. And this one is probably the best representation ever in figure form. Presence, guys, this guy has so much presence. You can pose him in so many different ways. Again, you want to be careful with the tearing, but you can have the different sword options. You can have him in different display options. I think this looks great. If you're going to put Fenrir behind him or put maybe him on Fenrir, if you want to do that, you could do that. I think the bikes alone add so much presence to this figure because it is a total package. You're paying around $650 shipped out the door for a bike and Cloud, but I do think with the quality of the body and the head sculpts and the bike, you're getting a pretty good value. The original Cloud was also a great value, but this one to me is even better. I love the skirt. I love sort of the overall outfit of this one. I think it just pops and really looks nice on a shelf. But overall, I think this is going to be a huge presence sealer, especially with this sword. Look how massive this sword is. Be careful with him holding this. It is a little heavy. It's plastic. It's not die cast, but you do want to be careful not to mess anything up. You can see there, like I said, the joints and of course the bike as well. Just so much presence with this guy. I think he's one of a show stealer piece on my shelf. And I think when people come over and they see my collection, they're going to look at Cloud as one of the first figures. So to me, presence 5 out of 5, especially with Fenrir. It's just a really, really remarkable figure. Let's talk about some issues. So the shoulder pauldron, I'm not sure why they did this. It has a little peg. You peg it into the shoulder. I'm not sure why they didn't use magnets like they did with Sephiroth, but yeah, there's a peg and it's just a pain in the ass. Like, when you want to move this figure around, the shoulder piece will fall off sometimes. You just got to peg it in gently. The sleeve actually has 3 little small buttons, and you want to be very, very careful when removing the sleeve not to break something. So that's a small issue you just want to factor in as well. So price overall, like I said, around $650 shipped out the door for Fenrir and Cloud. If you want to get just Cloud, it was around $280, something like that. So nothing too crazy. But overall, I think this is a really good value for the price you're getting him for. So the swords look great. Again, the bike is fantastic. And I think you got something really special here overall. You're getting like a lot of really cool accessories with the swords and such, because you're getting so many swappable weapons essentially. And again, you can compare him to the original Cloud, which is also a great figure, and I love that one. But I think this one is better, and I think the presence and overall value makes it a good purchase overall. Base simplistic, but it works. It does the job. The outfit is great, perfectly tailored. Shoulder pauldron, while a little bit of a pain in the ass, it does look good. And overall head sculpt, you get 2 head sculpts, swappable hair pieces. It's great. You got the goggles, got the bikes, a lot of that stuff. It's a good value. So for me, I'm gonna give this one a price a 5 out of 5. So that said, guys, I think we got a really good figure here. So to me, accessories 5 out of 5. I think you got a really, really good, consistent accessory base here, considering you can adjust all the swords. You got Fenrir that has articulation, and then you can put the swords inside. It's fantastic. So articulation overall is a 4 out of 5. I give it a 4 out of 5 just because Fenrir is really impressive with the articulation. Cloud articulates very effectively, but you got to worry about those seamless joints. So I do want you to be careful there. Character Cloud is iconic to me. He's legendary. He looks great on a shelf. So as far as character and presence, those are easily both going to be 5s out of 5s for me. This is an iconic legendary character that has stood the test of time as far as video game franchises go. So both of those 5 out of 5. Price, I'm still going to give it a 5 out of 5 just because in today's market, $650 for a massive bike and a seamless body figure is actually a pretty good value, unlicensed or not. So final score for me is going to be about a 4.8 out of 5. I think this is easily one of the best figures of the year, certainly a figure of the year contender. It might just be my favorite, which is crazy. But guys, I really appreciate you watching this review. I love this Cloud figure. I cannot recommend it enough if you can still get your hands on it. As of me recording this video, I believe it is sold out in most places, but keep your eye out. Maybe someone will post some. I think this figure is phenomenal, whether you have the goggles on or not. Swappable hair pieces, an amazing bike, fantastic sword accessories. I think there's so many different display options for this one. I think this is easily one of the best figures of the year, if not the best, and certainly Gametoys' best release thus far for the company. Guys, this one was delayed quite a while, but it was worth it in the end. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, whether you're considering picking up this Cloud and Fenrir set. You can see here, I'm super excited with both my Clouds. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Catch you in the next one. Bye!